Bible addresses generosity, it starts with what we have in our hearts, not what we have in the bank. As a matter of fact, research shows that those with the least amount of money tend to give the most. If we want an effective ministry of money, then we need to develop a heart of generosity. In 2 Corinthians 9, 6, and 7, the Apostle Paul says, "Now this I say, he who sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and he who sows bountifully will also reap bountifully." Each one must do as he has purposed in his heart, not grudgingly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. Verse 7 gives us 3 elements of authentic generosity. The first is generosity is personal. Paul begins with the phrase, each one. We're each accountable to be generous with what we have. God doesn't compare our generosity to what others do or don't do with their finances. The Bible is very clear on this issue. According to 1 Corinthians 3:13, each man's work will become evident when we stand before Christ in judgment of our works. True generosity is driven by love and a personal desire to give out of obedience to the Lord. Generosity is also purposeful. Paul says that each one gives as he has purposed in his heart. Matthew 6:21 tells us that our hearts and our treasure abide in the same location. They aren't roommates by accident, and no one is generous by accident. When we fail to be generous, it's often because we assign purposes to our money without consulting God. Authentic generosity involves righteous intent, seeking to use God's resources to advance God's interest. Finally, generosity is pleasurable. Verse 7 ends by saying, "Not grudgingly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver." Now, some preachers try to guilt their congregations into giving, but people are usually more generous when they're compelled by grace and not by guilt. Cheerful givers also tend to be gracious receivers. They understand how incredibly generous God has been to them by paying their sin debt. Knowing the love and grace of Christ actually makes giving enjoyable. See, the key to achieving verse 7 is believing verse 6. Those who sow bountifully will also reap bountifully. This isn't a formula for wealth. Rather, it's evidence of complete trust in God to meet our daily needs. One day we'll each give an answer for how we've handled the resources God provided. If you've trusted the grace of Jesus Christ with your soul, then you can certainly trust Him with your finances. God bless you.